भारतीय सेना की सफलता और इसकी उपलब्धियां केवल सामूहिक प्रयास, प्रतिबद्धता, समर्पण और सभी सैनिकों में एकजुट बल के रूप में मिलकर काम करने की क्षमता के कारण है। यह विचार पूर्व सेना प्रमुख मनोज पांडे ने रखे। हाईकोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन नागपुर की ओर से स्वर्गीय वरिष्ठ विधिज्ञ विनोद बोबड़े की स्मृति में स्टडी सर्कल पहल के तहत बॉम्बे हाईकोर्ट की नागपुर खंडपीठ क्षेत्र
General Manoj Pandey, former Chief of Army Staff of the Indian Army and our keynote speaker for today's function, Honorable Shri Justice Anil Pansare, Judge Nagpur Bench of Bombay High Court and the chief guest for today's lecture, Honorable Judges of Nagpur Bench of Bombay High Court, Mrs. Archana Pandey, Advocate Atul Pandey, President of the High Court Bar Association, Advocate Amol Jaltare, Secretary of the Bar, Senior Advocate Mr. Firdos Mirza and Advocate Makarand Agniotri, the conveners of Study Circle, Colonel Vineet Bajpai, learned members of the bar and esteemed guests. The High Court Bar Association has always believed in nurturing the holistic growth of its members. Our study circle is not confined to legal discussions alone, but it extends to exploring various facets of life that contribute to the personal as well as professional growth of each individual advocate. It is with a sense of honor and privilege that, on behalf of late Shri Vinod Bobre, Senior Advocate Memorial, High Court Bar Association Study Circle, I, Advocate Palak Agrawal, welcome you all to one such lecture on leadership imperatives and lessons from Indian Army. I request Advocate Amol Jaltare, Secretary of HCBA, to welcome General Manoj Pandey with a sapling.
के ऑडिटोरियम में व्याख्यान कार्यक्रम आयोजित किया गया था। इस कार्यक्रम में लीडरशिप इंपेरेटिव एंड लेसन्स फ्रॉम इंडियन आर्मी इस विषय पर पांडे मार्गदर्शन कर रहे थे। व्यासपीठ पर न्यायमूर्ति अनिल पानसरे, वरिष्ठ विधिज्ञ फिरदौस मिर्जा, एससीबीए के अध्यक्ष एडवोकेट अतुल पांडे और सचिव एडवोकेट अमोल जलतारे भी मौजूद थे। 3 सिद्धांतों पर सेना का काम चलता है, नाम, नमक और निशान। यह 3 सिद्धांतों पर चलने वाली भारतीय सेना के बारे में मनोज पांडे ने कहा कि सेना में हर कोई अपने स्वार्थ को भूलकर देश की रक्षा के एकमात्र लक्ष्य को लेकर चल रहा है। एक कंपनी मैनेजर सिर्फ उस दिया गया टास्क पूरा करता है, लेकिन एक लीडर पहल करता है और अपनी टीम के लिए एक उदाहरण स्थापित करता है। सेना में भी हर जवान अपने प्रदर्शन से मिसाल कायम करता है। न्यायमूर्ति पानसरे ने कहा, सेना का एक ही धर्म है, देश के लिए समर्पित भाव से काम करना। उनकी निस्वार्थ सेवा के कारण हम सभी सुरक्षित है। संचालन एडवोकेट पलक अग्रवाल इन्होंने किया, आभार एडवोकेट अमोल जलतारे ने माना। कार्यक्रम में न्यायमूर्ति, वरिष्ठ विधिज्ञ तथा युवा वकील भी उपस्थित थे। सेना में लापरवाही बर्दाश्त नहीं की जाती, ये बात भी इस मौके पर कही गई। मनोज पांडे ने सबको संबोधित करते हुए यह भी कहा कि सेना में आप एक सेना प्रमुख रहे या एक सैनिक रहे, आपकी कर्तव्य के प्रति जिम्मेदारी एक पल के लिए भी कम नहीं होती। सेना में प्रत्येक इकाई की जिम्मेदारी उस स्तर पर महत्वपूर्ण है और इसे पूरा करने में किसी भी तरह की लापरवाही बर्दाश्त नहीं की जाती। शहर के अधिवक्ताओं ने एचएन न्यूज़ को जानकारी दी। आइए देखते हैं।
Most challenging circumstances where quick thinking, courage and collaboration are critical. The Indian Army's legacy of discipline, resilience, honor and adaptability offers profound lessons for leaders across all fields. Today, we have the rare opportunity to hear from an esteemed leader whose dedication and service to our nation has set an unparalleled example of excellence. It is with immense pleasure I introduce our keynote speaker for today's lecture, General Manoj Pandey. General Pandey served as the 29th Chief of Army Staff of Indian Army from 30th April 2022 to 30th June 2024. During his eventful and illustrious military career of over 42 years, he held a number of key appointments both in India and abroad. For his distinguished and dedicated services, he was awarded the Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, and Vishisht Seva Medal by the President of India. General Pandey holds a master's degree in defense studies and an MPhil degree in defense and management studies. He is an alumni of the Staff College Camberley, the High Command Course Maho, and the National Defense College, New Delhi. During his tenure as the Chief of Army Staff of the Indian Army, Shri Pandey articulated a vision that aimed at enhancing the responsiveness and operational readiness of the force and ensured its realization through a comprehensive strategy and associated plans. He laid out a time-bound transformation roadmap for the Indian Army for it to transition into a modern, agile, adaptive, and technology-enabled future-ready force. Under his visionary leadership, the Indian Army witnessed a number of initiatives for enhancing its efficiency in operational, administrative, and functional domains. He took remarkable steps towards realizing the vision of achieving Atmanirbharta in meeting defense sector needs. He also ensured a value-based organizational culture that emphasized integrity, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, courage, and honor. Post-retirement, General Pandey chooses to devote his time to think tanks, corporate houses, and academic institutions while motivating several young minds. Today, we also have the honor of having Mrs. Archana Pandey with us. Mrs. Pandey is a dental surgeon, and upon joining the Army fraternity, she has taken active part in different facets of social and organizational activities related to the well-being and empowerment of Army families by improving their vocational training and healthcare system. She has taught in Army schools and volunteered to work for special children and cancer patients at various military stations. She was closely associated with the Project Ahvan and the Women Empowerment Center for Veer Naris and Widows at Delhi. As President of Army Wives Welfare Association from 30th April 2022 till 30th June 2024, Mrs. Pandey focused her efforts on issues of women empowerment. Interestingly, both General Pandey and Mrs. Pandey have their roots from Nagpur. I now request our keynote speaker, General Manoj Pandey sir, to address the gathering.
Honorable Justice Pansare, Honorable Judges of the High Court present here, Advocates Atul Pandey, the President, Firdos Mirza, the Convener, and Advocate Amol Jaltare, Secretary of the Bar Association. Members of the Bar Association, distinguished senior counsels, budding lawyers, students of law, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening, good afternoon to you. It is an honor for me to be amongst you all this afternoon to speak as part of the late Sri Vinod Bobde Memorial Study Circle, and I wish to thank the HCBA for providing me this opportunity. The Nagpur High Court has a rich and illustrious history, and as I just saw the court building, it stands as an important landmark and a heritage structure in Nagpur, symbolizing the city's historical significance. Many members of the bar here have risen or have been elevated as judges of the Supreme Court and other prominent judicial and administrative appointments. Among them, Justice Sir Vivian Bose, Justice Mudholkar, Justice A.P. Sen, former CJI Justice Sharad Bobde, Justice Sirpurkar, and now Justice Bhushan Gawai. In fact, as you mentioned, I did my initial years of my schooling here, and each time when you passed this magnificent High Court building, you always felt envious. And as young children, I remember we were very curious to know as to what is it inside. And it was always remained an enigma in our mind. So I'm very fortunate and glad that I've finally got an opportunity to visit the High Court premises and interact with you all. As was briefly mentioned, my association with Nagpur goes long back. Not only was I born here, but I did my primary education in the city. My parents, my two brothers, my wife, and the extended family, my in-laws and parents belong to this wonderful city. In the last 40-50 years, I must say, the city has witnessed many changes. You have new infrastructure projects like the Mihan, the metro, you have new educational institutes such as the IIM, the AIMS, and the rest. Even the citizens here now I see are getting much better facilities, opportunities, in fact, world-class facilities, opportunities, amenities in every field. But despite all this, what I must mention here, something which has not changed is the people of Nagpur, and I must spend some time. And when I say people of Nagpur, I am referring to their identity and their character. I think the uniqueness of the people here in the city has been their very uncomplicated nature, a sense of belonging, a genuine warmth, the importance that they pay or give to human relationships, and the aspect of remaining firmly connected to the ground. Now, these are some of the qualities or values which I also try to imbibe in my military career. I think to be one's own self, remaining genuine without any pretensions, valuing and nurturing relationships, and remaining firmly grounded is something which greatly helped me in my service career. I've been living outside Nagpur for the last 45 years now, and meeting number of people in various positions who belong to Nagpur but have now moved out, and have been interacting with them very often. One thing which I can say with great conviction is that you can take a person out of Nagpur but not Nagpur out of a person. Now that has been my observation. When you meet, and I've been meeting them all over, since you got to travel different parts of the country, but when you get talking, you easily or very easily establish that connect, and these characteristics that I just described very easily come to the fore. From the day I joined NDA, when I was 17 years, and as we walked up into this hall, I was mentioning to my colleagues, my military life at every step has been a lesson in leadership and responsibility. I was fortunate to get an opportunity to serve this great country of ours at every stage, in different areas, different sectors, and in different appointments or assignments. It is commonly believed that bigger the position, greater the responsibility. But in the army, it is quite different. Whether it is a section commander who leads a group of, let us say, 10 soldiers, or it is the army chief, I think each one of their roles is as important, as challenging, and as demanding. And the success of the Indian Army and what it achieves is only due to the collective efforts, commitment, dedication, and ability of all soldiers to work together as a cohesive team or a cohesive force. Just as soldiering, the legal profession has been one of the noble professions. I think both work for the good and safeguarding of the societies and the nation in one way or the other. From the time of our independence and the freedom movements, through making of our constitution and subsequent contemporary Indian politics, I think the lawyers have played a very significant role and contributed immensely. The contributions of stalwarts such as Motilal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Chittaranjan Das, Gopinath Bordolai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Madan Mohan Malviya, C. Rajgopalachari, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is very well known. I believe lawyers have always played a crucial and a multifaceted role in the society, because you all represent individuals and entities, ensuring that rights are protected. You also influence public and shape opinion at large. And in a way, you show the way to the society through implementation of policies and ensuring social justice. Your contributions at the micro level have effect or have potential to achieve outcomes at the macro level. Court judgments based on interpretation of law are not only restricted to obtaining an injunction, stay, or bail for clients, though these are important in themselves as they do justice to the immediate cause at hand. But I believe there is a wider process of nation building in which the lawyers have a very vital and an important role to play. In my talk over the next 25 minutes, I shall cover 3 issues. Firstly, I shall talk about the army as an institution. What is it that it stands for? Then I'll go on to talk about certain leadership imperatives and the lessons from a soldier's perspective. And I think these will be relevant for young lawyers, budding lawyers sitting here in this hall, who are the future of the country. And towards the end, I shall try and draw some parallels between the profession of soldiering and the legal profession, and try to explain to you as to how the latter can benefit from the former. And let me start by saying that at the pace at which the country is progressing today, it is imperative that the defense forces, and specifically the army, maintain a robust and safe internal as well as external environment so that there is no hindrance to the country's growth, progress, and development. A nation's progress and its security are inextricably linked. While the economic power is the fountainhead of growth, it is the military strength which lends it the capability to effect outcomes necessary to protect and further our national interest. In this regard, I must say that the Indian Army is fully committed to ensuring that the nation's security is not impacted in any way so that its progress continues unabated. So what is it that defines the Indian Army as an institution? I think it stands as a macrocosm of values that common citizen looks up to. The Army's core values stand on the edifice of Naam, Namak, and Nishan. Naam embodies the collective identity, reputation, and honor of the unit or regiment to which a soldier belongs. Namak, the loyalty and indebtedness to the organization. And Nishan is the respect for the ensign, the color, all the flag that inspires pride and motivation. The essence of this is what sets the profession of soldiering apart from other professions. Putting service before self and an ingrained commitment to preserve the honor and pride of the tricolor, I believe, is what drives an Indian Army soldier to endure the rigors of life and even make the supreme sacrifice in service of the nation when required. adherence to the motto of, and I quote, the safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always and every time, is at the heart of a soldier's commitment. Secular fabric and respect for all religions and beliefs is an integral part of Army's identity. Army is an organization where soldiers from different backgrounds, regions, culture, religions, ethnicities come together, live and work as a cohesive force where equal opportunities are provided to all. And this is what I think truly exemplifies unity in diversity. Some of you would be knowing that in most of the army units, we have what is called as a Sarv Dharm Sthal, where you have all the religious institutions, be it a mandir, a gurdwara, or a masjid, or a church, all being housed in a single building or a same premise. So what is it and why is it that people have faith in the army? I think this is because the people look at the army or soldiers as being selflessly committed in countering the threats to the nation, be it on the borders or combating proxy war situation, internal security situation in different parts of the country. They also have the confidence that their army is combat hardened, trained and equipped to take on any security threat or challenge that may come its way. In the army, they also see an institution which is invariably the first responder in times of crisis such as natural calamities, man-made disasters. They are also stakeholders in development of border areas, empowering local communities and fostering national integration. I think this is the character of the olive greens, is why the army enjoys a distinct stature in the nation's mind space. Let me now put forth some key waypoints and lessons on leadership from the perspective of a soldier. For a larger perspective of leadership, it is essential to understand that leadership is a universal concept. It may mean different things to different people. Leaders emerge in all walks of life, be it the military, business, sports, politics, education, or even in the profession of law. However, the practice of leadership is unique because the demands of duties of leadership vary according to the setting in which it is practiced. However, fundamental principles that underpin effective leadership are strikingly similar in all cases, across all domains, and stand relevant to leaders in all walks of life. A question that is often asked is, so what is the difference between a leader and a manager? Let me explain. Managers are largely responsible for organizing, controlling resources, and ensuring that tasks are completed efficiently in compliance with established procedures. Leaders, on the other hand, are people-oriented. They define a vision and lead by example towards achieving set objectives while concurrently developing and empowering their teams. They are the catalysts for innovation and transformation. While leadership and management are distinct roles, they are not mutually exclusive. The most effective individuals in any organization often combine elements of both. General Colin Powell, who was the former chairman and Joint Chiefs of Staff of the US Army and their Secretary of State, had this to say on leadership, and I quote, "Leadership is the act of accomplishing more than the science of management says is possible," unquote. Leadership has been defined in a number of other ways. The former US General Dwight Eisenhower, who also later on became the US President, defined it as, and I quote, the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it, unquote. Another definition of leadership that has been put forth is that it is the art of influencing, enabling, and directing others to accomplish the mission professionally. Another leadership definition is it's a mixture of example, persuasion, and compulsion which enables men and women to do what you want them to do. It is a projection of personality, and it is the most personal thing in the world because it is just plain you, unquote. In the profession of soldiering, it is not just a matter of planning and giving orders and expecting them to be obeyed. It is a complex interplay of four pivotal attributes that define a military leader. And I must say, these attributes of which I will now be talking are not only relevant to leaders, but I think are relevant to, in fact, each one of us here as good citizens, as good human beings. And these four attributes are character, conduct, competence, and commitment. These in turn encompass many traits, qualities, and competencies which are equally applicable, like I mentioned, to young budding lawyers as well as students who are sitting here. So let me start by talking about character. Character entails many virtues that a good human being must possess. The important ones that character entails are integrity, honesty, loyalty, selflessness, moral courage, and fortitude. These serve as a guide to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Upholding a strong set of values must be reflected in your actions and decisions. There will be occasions when you would be faced to choose between doing the right thing or the winning thing. It is in these defining moments that your moral courage shall be put to test. So, embrace character as one of your core attributes. Competence is the next attribute. You must possess the knowledge, skills, and abilities to excel in one's role and inspire others. It is also about continuously learning, adapting, evolving, and acknowledging that there is always more to learn and discover. So, to my young friends here, make a commitment to lifelong learning and the quest for excellence as an enduring one. Conduct comes next. It embodies the very essence of one's actions in conformity with accepted norms in society, a commitment of adherence to a set of values, principles, rules, and ethos, and an unwavering dedication to one's work and duty. Your conduct in all aspects, including in personal life, must always be above reproach. Subsumed under the attribute of conduct are the qualities of self-discipline, teamwork, and empathy. Self-discipline instills a sense of responsibility, cultivates good habits, and drives consistent progress. Embrace self-discipline not as a restriction, but as a guiding principle that will always propel you towards success. In every facet of life, including our daily chores that we do, the significance of teamwork cannot be overstated. You must nurture the ability to blend into a team, align to team goals, and contribute your best. Empathy is about understanding and inspiring people. It is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to see the world from their perspective, and to connect with their emotions and experiences. Treat others with compassion and care. You also need to be a good listener. Challenges will always put your commitment to test. Adversity in the form of setbacks and failures, remember, are part of the game. They need to be seen not as unsurmountable barriers, but as stepping stones to success. Each failure or each fall provides an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. Never give up and always be driven by a never say die attitude, and you shall overcome life's toughest moments. These are also the basic building blocks to shape you as good citizens of our wonderful country and shall prepare you for the future. The men and women in the olive greens share a strong bond among themselves. Now, this bond is forged in the crucible of shared challenges, sacrifices, and victories. Inclusive to this bond are the elements of camaraderie and esprit de corps. Camaraderie binds each soldier with a collective sense of belonging to the team, and esprit de corps embodies the collective pride, moral, and solidarity of the team. This relationship extends beyond individual in the army and encompasses one's family, and it lasts a lifetime. Similarly, I would urge you here to develop lasting relationships and friendships, which I believe are the cornerstones of a rich and fulfilling life. They will offer you support, companionship, and a sense of belonging. And to my young friends here, work life balance is another aspect which I feel is very important. And it is to do with life beyond the workspace. Do devote time to pursue a hobby, sport, read and meditate. In effect, do invest in some me time. This is essential for sound physical and emotional health, as well as developing a well rounded personality. Also, do have a role model from whom you can draw inspiration and who can be a guide and mentor. As young citizens, and even as you grow into young men and women, remember tolerance is the cornerstone of a harmonious society. Learn to acknowledge and accept different perceptions and points of views. Respect for all religions is fundamental to the idea of India, and that is the principle I believe you must live by. The progression of technology and transformative innovations across multiple domains is significantly impacting lives. While these augment our capabilities, emotional intelligence and human values will continue to keep the human aspect of what we do indispensable. The nation is making great strides in all spheres. Each one of you sitting here will play an important role in driving India's growth story. Every youth, I believe, has the potential to change people's lives.
Nagpur. My question is that how can student adopt Indian Army's principle of discipline and decision making in our daily life?
Yeah, so I said self discipline is one thing. One way of, you look at as to how others have, so you find discipline will help a sportsman, self discipline will also help, let's say, so you look at some of your, senior successful lawyers, your guides, your mentors. Nothing in life can you achieve without discipline, right? You have to have your mental frame of mind correct for your physical well-being, your moral well-being, your emotional well-being. I think discipline, and I can make out, I think at least there are three questions which are again pointing towards how do you inculcate discipline, self sort of restraint, right? So one way is over a period of time, it will not come overnight. Unfortunately, you can't buy discipline, just like you can't buy character. It has to be developed over a period of time. You will have to constantly work at it. Look at some of your guides, mentors, seniors, contemporaries, No, it is through their lives, to watch, by observing them, by watching them. You will, but practice, you will have to do it yourself. Unfortunately, nobody else can, and somebody else can discipline you only to an extent. The rest of it has to come within. So it is how you motivate yourself, I think, is the key.
Criticize civilians for not being serious in their lives and not being having rigid values that that the military personnel possess. So, in the world of distractions, advocates also are facing the same, and we students are also not having those values because of many reasons. For example, the distractions and etc. So, what do you think? How these values can be inculcated and imbibed in the Indian legal system effectively?
No, so I think first question you asked is, just repeat that first part.
Actually, I said there has been a notion in the society that military personnel criticize civilians for not being serious in their lives.
Okay, yeah, so that's fine. So, like I keep saying, it is not as if for a military man to think that it is only the military or the army is doing good for the society, good for the nation. I always believe, and I have been saying this openly, telling my people in soldiers while I was in the army, that look, it is all of us. So it's not only a soldier, there's a doctor, there's an engineer, there's a lawyer, there is somebody else, somebody who's doing business. I think all are working towards the good of the country. So it is not as if it is only you or your profession that you are doing good. You need to collaborate, work alongside each other, and that is how your outcomes will improve. In most of our challenges, in most of our situations, if it is a whole of the nation approach, if all work together, that is what I think will help the country to progress further. So that is one aspect of as to how you can't be thinking that it is only the military or maybe in the or any single profession which is actually doing the most for the good of the country. So does that answer your question or no?
So that sense of nationalization should be in everybody's.
No, there is no. I mean, it has to be by talking, by discussing. You have to genuinely believe that it is not only. Secondly, so you also mentioned that military look down upon. If not look down upon, you look at. So I've been telling So I said, don't, somebody who is outside the military, don't even address them, call them as civilians. I think that's not a correct term. You call them non-military. The moment you say civilians, it comes, at least mentally, in the military mind, that maybe they're not sort of whatever. So I think military, non-military is a good way of doing things or speaking of things, which I have been telling my people, and I think. But it is not, it is never in the military's mind that we look down upon or we look at, somebody outside the uniform as less disciplined. No. That may be a perception, also because of what Justice Pansare was saying in terms of uniform, that pride, just like in your profession, right? There is a reason why we put on uniform in the military.
Thank you, sir. I now request Senior Advocate Mr. Firdos Mirza, convener of the study circle, to present a shawl and souvenir to Honorable Shri Justice Anil L. Pansare. Thank you, sir. I request Advocate Amol Jaltare, the Secretary of the Bar, to propose the vote of thanks.
I think he is the one who protects us even without food or fur. Oh angel, thy name is soldier. Thank you, sir. Very good evening and warm welcome to all present over here. I think indeed today is a memorable day, as we have amongst us the former chief of the army staff, Major General Pandey sir, with us. I think very seldom it would happen that we have such dignitaries addressing the members of the bar upon such aspects like discipline, solidarity, integrity, hard work, dedication. I think these are the footnotes for a soldier and for budding lover as well, if I am not wrong, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. On behalf of High Court Bar Association, I take this opportunity to extend a sincere and deep sense of gratitude to General Manoj Pandey sir for accepting our invitation and to deliver a lecture in the study circle activity and enlightening the members on the topic leadership imperatives and lessons from Indian Army. I am sure that my fellow colleagues will surely try to inculcate the values of discipline, dedication and hard work in their professional journey as well. Sir, thank you for sparing your valuable time and for guiding the members of HCBA. Your lecture has indeed left an impeccable impact and the same will be helpful to all of us in the future as well, sir. Sir, I truly feel that we, the citizens of India, shall always remain indebted and grateful to the members of Indian Armed Forces. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much again. I am also grateful to the chief guest for today's function, Honorable Chief Justice Anil Pansare, sir, for sparing your valuable time and for guiding the members of the association. I am thankful to Mrs. Archana Pandey, ma'am, Colonel Vinit Bajpayee, sir, Lieutenant Colonel Mr. Abhishek Mishra, sir, for your valuable guidance and your gracious presence for today's function. I am thankful to Mr. Ravindra Sadrani, Registrar Administration, and the members of Registry for their active support and guidance.
तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Jai Hind.
I request all the dignitaries and members of the bar to join for high tea at the cafe.
दर्शकों नमस्कार। इस समय में AHN न्यूज़ की टीम हाई कोर्ट ऑफ बॉम्बे नागपुर बेंच के उस सभागृह में है जहां पर हाल ही में स्वर्गीय श्री विनोद जी बोबड़े सीनियर एडवोकेट मेमोरियल हाई कोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन स्टडी सर्कल की ओर से हाई कोर्ट सभागृह में आज लीडरशिप इम्परेटिव्स एंड लेसन्स फ्रॉम इंडियन आर्मी के जनरल मनोज पांडे सर आए थे और उन्होंने आज काफ़ी अच्छा ये तमाम वकीलों को जानकारी दी है, मार्गदर्शन किया और ये बताया कि आर्मी अपने आप में कितनी महत्वपूर्ण होती है, आर्मी के क्या कामकाज होते हैं, जैसे कि आर्मी के जो कामकाज होते हैं वे पूरी तरह से अधिवक्ताओं में भी होते हैं। आइए अब हम सीधा एक एक हर किसी वकील के पास चलते हैं, उनसे बात करना चाहेंगे। सर, आज मनोज पांडे सर ने जिस अंदाज में जो बातचीत किया, मार्गदर्शन किया, कैसा लगा?
मेरा नाम एडवोकेट अनंत अशोक राहुल। आज हमारे बीच जनरल मनोज पांडे जी आए थे। उन्होंने जो मार्गदर्शन किया काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण था और हमारे इस लीगल फील्ड में यानी द इंडियन आर्मी, इनका जो महत्व है, इनके अंदर जो डिसिप्लिन है, हमारे फ्रेंड लर्नेड काउंसिल एडवोकेट टुफेल शरीफ जी ने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा उनको साझा करते हुए जनरल मनोज पांडे जी ने जो आंसर किए वो हमारे लीगल फील्ड में, हमारे लॉ फील्ड में, हम एडवोकेसी के लिए काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट था। सेल्फ रिस्पेक्टेड कैसा होना चाहिए, डिसिप्लिन कैसी होनी चाहिए आप लोगों में, इसको जानकर हम काफ़ी अच्छा महसूस कर रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, काफ़ी अच्छा महसूस कर रहे हैं, ऐसा इनका कहना है। हाँ सर, आपने भी सुना, कैसे लगा?
जी, मेरा नाम संपन्न पांडे है। मैं डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर कॉलेज ऑफ लॉ का छात्र हूँ और स्टडी सर्कल ने हमें एक बहुत ज़्यादा ही अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म दिया कि हम इतने अच्छी पर्सनालिटी से कन्वर्सेशन कर पाएँ। एज अ स्टूडेंट मेरा उनसे एक सवाल था कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की जो अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा प्रचलित हो रहा है पूरे देश भर में, तो उसको हम एज अ डिफेंस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से उसे हम एज अ फ्रेंड कंसिडर कर सकते हैं या उसे एज अ एनिमी कंसिडर कर सकते हैं।
तो क्या कहा उन्होंने?
उन्होंने यही कहा कि उसे वो एक खाली ग्लास है, आप उसको जिस तरीके से यूज़ करेंगे वो उस इंसान पर भी डिपेंड करता है कि वो उसे अच्छे पर्पसों के लिए यूज़ कर रहा है या फिर बुरे पर्पसेस के लिए यूज़ कर रहा है। तो उनका ये जो आंसर था मुझे काफ़ी सही लगा और एज अ लॉयर आई फील कि हमें इस पर रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज़ बनानी चाहिए जो कि एआई को ज़्यादा मैक्सिमाइज़ करे कि वो एज अ फ्रेंड यूज़ हो, ना कि एज अ एनिमी। थैंक यू।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, और भी कुछ अधिवक्ता उनसे भी जानना चाहेंगे। आपने भी एक सवाल किया था, वो सवाल कौन सा था? और उनका जब मनोज पांडे सर ने जवाब दिया, क्या आप सेटिस्फाइड हो?
पहले तो मेरा नाम रेहान पांडे, मैं फर्स्ट ईयर MNLU नागपुर का छात्र हूँ। मैंने सर को सवाल पूछा था कि जो आर्मी के प्रिंसिपल्स है, डिसिप्लिन और डिसीजन मेकिंग, वो हम एज अ स्टूडेंट हमारे लाइफ में कैसे अडॉप्ट कर सके। तो उन्होंने जो मुझे उत्तर दिया कि डिसिप्लिन एक दिन में नहीं आता, वो उसको लाना पड़ता है अपने लाइफ में, जो कि मुझे बहुत कन्विंसिंग आंसर लगा। और जो उन्होंने ये बताया कि मेंटरशिप, मतलब आप अपने मेंटर से कैसे सीखते हो, फिर आपकी मोटिवेशन, ये सब चीज़ें आपको लाइफ में कैसे हेल्प करती है टू बी अ डिसिप्लिन पर्सन। और डिसीजन मेकिंग के लिए भी उन्होंने मुझे मतलब हमें एड्रेस किया कि कैसे एक पर्टिकुलर डिसीजन लेने के लिए क्या क्या चीज़ें हमें सोचने पड़ते हैं।
बिल्कुल, आप क्या कहना चाहते हो? आपने भी लेक्चर
मैं साक्षी धोपाड़े BACL की छात्रा हूँ, मैं भी एक लॉ स्टूडेंट हूँ। सो आज जो सर ने एड्रेस किया है उसमें सर ने हमें मिलिट्री के प्रिंसिपल्स और मिलिट्री और लॉ प्रोफेशन कैसे पैरेलली चलते हैं और उनके डिसिप्लिन्स कैसे हमें हमारी डे टू डे लाइफ में इनकलकेट करना चाहिए फॉर बीइंग अ सक्सेसफुल लॉयर, उस चीज़ में गाइड किया। एंड इट वाज अ रियली गुड सेशन। आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक द स्टडी सर्कल फॉर गिविंग अस द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू अटेंड सच amazing orators. Thank you.
आज का सर का कैसा लगा लेक्चर?
मेरा नाम रिया सतीश कोथाय है, मैं भी एक लॉ स्टूडेंट हूँ। और आज का जो सेशन था सर का, उसके वजह से हमें बहुत कुछ सीखने मिला, जैसे कैसे कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट करना है, कैसे जो डिसिप्लिन है, मिलिट्री के जो प्रिंसिपल्स हैं उनको खुद के लाइफ में इनकलकेट करना है, और कैसे डिसिप्लिन एक दिन की चीज़ नहीं है और उसको करना है तो हमें ही उसके लिए एफर्ट्स लेने पड़ेंगे। भले ही हमें कितने भी लोग कुछ गाइड कर दे, बट एट द एंड वो हमारा डिसीजन है कि उसे हमें लाइफ में इनकलकेट करना है क्या नहीं। तो ये बहुत अच्छा एक इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज़ किया था स्टडी सर्कल ने।
बिल्कुल, स्टडी सर्कल हमेशा ही अच्छा कामकाज करती है, अच्छे नए नए उपक्रम लाती है, और इस माध्यम से कहीं ना कहीं ये जो नए जो अधिवक्ताएँ जो होते हैं, जो सीखने वाले जो विद्यार्थी होते हैं, उनके लिए काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण साबित होता है। इस कार्यक्रम की खास बात तो ये है कि जिन्होंने सूत्र संचालन किया, ऐसी अधिवक्ता भी हमारे साथ में हैं। जब आप सर के बारे में जब जानकारी दे रहे थे, क्या चल रहा था आपके मन में, कैसा लगा?
बहुत अच्छा लगा सर के बारे में पढ़ के और उनके बारे में सबको बता के। बहुत इंस्पायरिंग रहता है ऐसे लोगों के बारे में जानना जो इतनी मेहनत से अपनी लाइफ में इतने हाई पोजीशन पे जाते हैं और इतनी सेल्फलेस सर्विस देते हैं हमारे नेशन के लिए, हमारे प्रोटेक्शन के लिए। और उनके ओपिनियंस जान के बहुत अच्छा लगा।
बिल्कुल, ओपिनियन जान के अच्छा। कौन सी बात अच्छी लगी?
जैसे उन्होंने एक्सप्लेन किया कि कैसे डिसिप्लिन अपन को खुद से इनकलकेट करना पड़ता है और कैसे यू हैव टू चूज़ बिटवीन द राइट थिंग और द रॉन्ग थिंग विच माइट बी द विनिंग थिंग, एंड कैसे वो फाइन लाइन जो रहती है वो आपको डिसाइड करनी पड़ती है खुद के लिए।
बिल्कुल, और काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण उन्होंने जानकारी दी। बातों बातों में उन्होंने ये भी बताया था कि जो मिलिट्री का जो शासन होता है, वो जो अनुशासन होता है काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण होता है। अगर अनुशासन नहीं रहेगा, जब भी कभी वॉर होता है तो वहाँ जो डिसीजन जो मेकर्स होते हैं तो वो उनका लीडर होता है। हर क्षेत्र में कोई ना कोई एक लीडर होता है। लीडर वो होना चाहिए जो सबको साथ लेके चले और अच्छी कमांड दे, और उनका जो आदेश है लीडर का वो तमाम सहयोगी ने, चाहे फिर सोल्जर हो या अन्य कोई भी क्षेत्र के हो, उन्होंने फॉलो करना चाहिए। और लीडर का भी ये काम बनता है कि सबको लेके चले। और आर्मी, भारतीय आर्मी आज पूरे विश्व में नंबर 1 पे इसलिए है क्योंकि अनुशासन, डिसिप्लिन, शिस्त जिसे कहा जाता है वो उसका पूरी तरह से पालन कर रहे हैं। चाहे फिर कहीं का भी वॉर क्यों ना हो, ये भारतीय जो फौज है 24/7 कामकाज करती है। रात का अंधेरा होता है, हम तो हमारे घर में 7 घंटे 5 घंटे का कामकाज करके घर चले जाते हैं, सोते हैं, लेकिन हम तब महफूज तरीके से सो पाते हैं जब हमारे देश के नौजवान सरहद पर दिन रात कामकाज करते हैं। कितना डिग्री सेल्सियस क्या तापमान होता है, ऐसे में चाहे ठंड हो, चाहे धूप हो, चाहे छाँव हो या बारिश हो, हर मौसम में एक पोल स्टार के जैसे काम करने वाले हमारे भारतीय सैनिक होते हैं। और आज इन भारतीय सैनिकों के ऊपर में हमें काफ़ी प्राउड फील हम करते हैं, अभिमान हमें है, क्योंकि हिमालय की है पुकार, बहादुरों बढ़े चलो। हिमालय की है पुकार, बहादुरों बढ़े चलो, बढ़े चलो, बढ़े चलो, आगे सबसे हो चलो, आगे सबसे हो चलो। नागपुर के हाईकोर्ट बार एसोसिएशन के इस ऑडिटोरियम से वीडियो जर्नलिस्ट दिनेश के साथ संजय मिरे, AHN न्यूज़ नागपुर।
अरे वाह, पिकनिक की तैयारी?
अब बेटा हम ठहरे डायबिटीज के पेशेंट, इस उम्र में पिकनिक वगैरह तो ना हो पाएगा, ज्यादा बैठने से पैरों में सूजन भी।
तो फिर इतनी सारी दवाई क्यों? 90% ऑफ डायबिटिक पेशेंट की शुगर सिर्फ अप्रोप्रिएट डाइट थेरेपी से कंट्रोल की जा सकती है।
अच्छा, अब क्या करें?
पूरे इंडिया में अप्रोप्रिएट डाइट थेरेपी के 50+ सेंटर्स है, तो आज ही अपनी अपॉइंटमेंट बुक कराएं और डायबिटीज के सोल्यूशन पाएं।
आज ही अपने कंफर्मेटरी टेस्ट कराएं सिर्फ एप्रोप्रिएट डाइट थेरेपी से।